welcome back to HomoJoys.net. I'm going to show you today a sort of fun and possibly very useful app called Sleep as an Droid. Now, I've got to complain about that first of all. That's actually quite an annoying title, Sleep as an Droid. It's quite hard to say and people don't understand what you're saying. They'll try Sleep as an Android. It's not, it's Sleep as an Droid for some reason. Anyway, let's move on. Name aside, it's really quite a cool app. The premise of the app is, or should I say to use it, you come into this mode, you tap the little night thing, it says starting sleep tracking. You put your phone, you turn the screen off, it's fine, you put your phone on, like, I don't know, the corner of the mattress up near your head perhaps, and it basically monitors the movement of the mattress. Insert dirty jokes here, but like I say, it's for when you're sleeping, not measuring other performance. You can't really see anything at this point, that makes no sense at all, don't worry about it. Let me cancel that, in fact, stop and exit. I get to then save it or remove it. If I say yes, save, it wants me to sort of rate my sleep and also put comments, but we'll come to that in a second. This version is free, but as you can see, it's a trial version. You can unlock this for 14 days. You can unlock it for, I think, about 85p, and I've got to be honest, I probably will do. I quite like it, it's quite useful. Also, as you can see here, before I progress further in, there's your alarms. So, in theory, the use to this, rather than just interesting to see in the morning, and I'll show you the graphs in a second, the use is, let's say I'm working in the morning, I've got to be up for about 6:30. Some people complain when they get woken up by their alarm, they're grumpy, they feel terrible. The idea of this is, if I say, yes, I want to be woken up at 8:30 in the morning, so the alarm's turned on, the time is set to 8:30, I set the different days, smart early wake up. So what this does is, if it recognises from the movement of your mattress that you're in a light sleep rather than a deep sleep, in 30 minutes period running up to when your alarm is set, it will set the alarm off then. You can change from an hour to 2 hours, as little as 10 minutes, or turn it off. Now, of course, if it gets to 8:30 and you're zonked out, you're dead, you're unconscious totally, it will just set the alarm off anyway. So you can't oversleep because you never come into a light sleep. But what it would do, if at, let's say, 8:10, you were a bit restless, it detected you moving around, it would just set the alarm off then. And in theory, you wake up in a much better state. I can't really say I've had a chance to test it because unfortunately I've been off work this week, so I've not really been able to test a proper, waking up at 6 odd in the morning. What we can do though is it did save that. Let's get rid of that. I don't need that. Delete record. So what we have got here are the graphs of my sleep period. Now, funny enough, the first one I did is actually one of the worst ones. Possibly I was kind of thinking a lot about this app and just kind of, I don't know, so I wonder what it's monitoring. I don't know what it was, but I didn't sleep all that well that night. And if we go into show details, we get to see the actual graph. And wow, that is actually really bad. I'll show you some of the better ones now. I've been using it for almost a week and a bit more used to it, I suppose. Let me show you, for example, it's interesting, you can see the 2 nights back, they didn't look like I ever got as quite as settled as the one underneath it. You see those 2 at the bottom of the screen, really quite sort of low, and even though the one in the middle there is quite flat, it's slightly higher, so I guess I was moving around a bit more. You also get to put, I don't think we see it unless we go into the details, like you saw, you get to put comments. So let's look at show details. So that was last night. Now the weird thing was, I did have an odd dream. It wasn't really a nightmare, but it was quite an odd dream, and you can see how I was quite restless. If we go to one of the other ones, so let's look at this one, show details. I didn't put any comments, regular night's sleep, and that's hugely different. I think one interesting thing that they could perhaps have done, which I don't think, what other options do I get, would be to compare. Copy to clipboard. You can share on Facebook, via email, no Twitter, a little bit odd. So you can, I'm not actually sure what happens if you share it to Facebook, maybe it just posts up the image of your sleeping graph. You get stats as well, so it tells you average sleeping time. Mine's 7.8. Like I said, I've been on holiday this week. Normally it'd probably be about, I don't know, 6.5. And it works out as well your sleep debt. Again, I'm not entirely sure, so it thinks I should have 7 hours sleep, as you can see, and it tells me if I've had too much or too little, and the total. That's from the last 14 days, as you can see there. Gotta be honest, I didn't try that one. It's a beta aspect. I'm not actually sure what that is. I presume it records, and if you make noise, maybe it records it. So if I had an interesting odd dream, maybe it records me saying things. Could be kind of funny. I know some people talk in their sleep quite a lot. So yeah, it's quite an odd little app really, but every person, I mean, someone showed me this, I thought, oh, I've got to get it. And I've showed a few other people, oh my god, where's that? So it's that kind of app that people generally want to have a go with themselves. So there it is, Sleep as an Droid, free for 14 days, and then it's like 85p after that, which I highly recommend. I think it's great. Post in the comments below if you do actually use it to wake you up when you've got to get to work in the early morning, because I'd love to know if you think it works or not in that respect. Sleep as an Droid. My name's Andy, hemajorist.net.